Did you ever wonder why hyper successful entrepreneurs can focus 12, 14 hours, 7 days per week? Well, I did this and therefore I did my research, and these supplements, plus two nasal sprays, are actually the factor why they use it. And by the way, these are all actually legal things, so you can use them today and have 12 to 14 hours focus. So who am I to talk with you about that? My name is Just Wizard and I make multimillionaires healthy. That is literally my job. And I'm a biohacker, I'm a researcher in health and science, and I focus especially on brain science because I need to improve entrepreneurs' focus and health most of the time. And a large part of that is actually the right supplementation and the right substances in order to achieve this success. And what you need to understand is that it is not, a miracle why hyper successful entrepreneurs are focused. They know that they need to take something in order to do, like bodybuilders use growth hormones, hyper successful entrepreneurs, and the highest performing people, of course, need to dope in order to be the best in the thing they do. You can't expect from only drinking a cup of coffee that you have a laser focus like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. It will not happen. And of course, a lot of their focus comes from, the drive and the focus in the area and, the spirit they have contributing to work. And when you don't have a vision or something you want to work towards, then, even though with these supplements and substances, you will not work as hard as they do. So the baseline is, having something to work on. But then, use these things. This is, by the way, a starter nootropic set, or let's say it is a starting nootropic set. You can go more in depth with peptides and substance. And by the way, these two bad boys are peptides, so this might be the only not legal substance in your country. And yeah, I would say I explain you exactly why these peptides, why these nootropics, why these supplements, and then after this video you can try them out too. By the way, I have no sponsors or anything like that. I just want to share this experience. I just want to share what I know. I just want to tell you how I focus 12 to 14 hours, how I will be a millionaire in 1 year, and how I will be a billionaire in 20, 30, 40 years. And I only can do this because of this, and I want to share this with the world because I think a lot of bullshit is going on in the health industry and people are focusing on the not important thing. And when you have this stack, I can tell you this, you will 3x, 4x, 5x your current output. And that is not unusual that people do that. And that is actually a stack I recommend my entrepreneurs to try it out, to go and to test this nootropic, or how can I tell this this nootropic and advanced supplement area. So let's move on. And the first two supplements are actually right common, and you might use it too. The first thing is caffeine. So I have here caffeine tablets. Normally I drink coffee, and this is, by the way, the only common thing that will pop up in today's video. The rest, or maybe there is something else that is really common, but caffeine works. So caffeine has no real side effects. If you dose it correctly, you know when to use it, and it works in combination with L-theanine. So when you combine it with L-theanine, you don't have any crashes, you will sleep good. And just a broad recommendation: drink 2 cups of coffee, one 30 to 60 minutes after wake up, and one at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then you have 2 cups of coffee combined with 100 to 200 milligram L-theanine, and you're good to go. The next thing we have is ashwagandha. So that is, by the way, the next common thing. So I have something that is called no stress. That is, in Germany we have these comba, this adaptogen compounds, and in general I have a no stress. So something with ginkgo bilbao, ashwagandha, all of these peptides, not peptides, sorry, adaptogens, something like that, because it helps your mood to get better, to lower your cortisol, and that is a good base. And when you now think, well, you use caffeine, that is a stimulant, why would you use a calming substance? Well, basically, caffeine gives you the energy, but you need to understand it like, a broad spectrum. Now you have all this energy and you don't know what, and then you get anxious and you have all of this energy, and this calming thing helps you to shorten the scope and to laser focus. So this is a great base, and that is actually, these two things are the things I use since 3 years, and it works pretty good. By the way, ashwagandha, I would recommend KSM 66. Um, and in between 300 to 600 milligram is a good way to go. And if you have some, some trusted provider of a no stress compound, of something like an abdoptogen compound, try it out. Amazing. By the way, I use this as well in the morning with my coffee. The next thing I use with my coffee is another calming thing, because the other two things will make you more focused, and these bad boys as well. This is rosea. It might be an adaptive to gain thing. It is notable to mention. I use it only when I have huge deadlines to to hit, and it is good to use. And yeah, you can try it out. I would recommend you 500 milligrams of rosea. If you want to try it out, give it a shot. It's worth it. The next two things are actually nootropics or mushrooms. The first thing is lion's mane. That has no active, so I feel that it has no active benefit for you, but it helps your brain to regenerate better. It is kind of the recovery compound for your brain. So when you work, when you want to work 12 hours a day, you need to recover for 12 hours a day. You make more neurological connections. Your brain needs to wire more and faster. And think of it, when you now run instead of 5 miles a whole marathon, of course you need to recover more, and lion's mane helps you with the recovery, and it's amazing. And I only use 500 milligrams. A lot of people use a gram or 2 gram, but I think 500 milligrams is way enough, and when the data shows something different, I will tell you about this. Then we have the first thing that helps you, besides of caffeine, to stimulate, to focus more, and that is nice. It is alpha GPC. By the way, all of these companies here are only companies, especially in Germany, in Europe. So if you have some trusted companies in the US, I would recommend you for peptides and all that stuff, peptide science, and for supplements, something like life extension, like Thorn, or like now foods, now nutrition. These three supplement companies and this one peptide and substance companies are well trusted, and my multimillionaires use them too. So the products are all good. Um, I don't have access, or I have other access in Germany. So, but the stuff is the same here. And alpha GPC actually helps you with improving your brain focus, and it actually focuses on BDNF, that is the brain drive, BDNF, brain drive neural factor. Sorry, and it helps you with actually learning better, learning faster, learning more. That is actually the goal of every brain enhancing substance. And I only use 300 milligrams, and you can use it. It loses its value after 2, 3, 4 hours, and you can renew it by using another 300 milligrams. So you can use it 2 or 3 times a day. It's really cool. It has no side effects. I love it. You can get dizziness as side effect, but I never heard it from my clients, and I actually never had some dizziness or brain fog as well. So maybe it has to do with the purity of the substance, or with the provider, or with the quality actually. But I never had problems. And the next two things, these are my kryptonite. So by the way, this is it gets more in depth. This is, by the way, the legal base you should have. This is, everyone can buy it, and it's legal to have, and it's nice to have, and you can use it. You can use it for learning. You can use it for whatever you want, and it is good to have. The next thing, these are two beginner plus things, and more advanced, it gets heavier, and with more effects there are more side effects, and therefore I don't recommend you to use them, these advancing, and therefore I don't mention them. I obviously use them because I know the science, the dosing, and all of that stuff, but I think for the beginning this here is quite reliable, and if you just use this, in the right thing, or in the right manner, or in the right doses, right timing for the right case, then this can be valuable. And in the end of the video, I will tell you exactly when to use what to what to what to mention, or literally why you should use it that way. I prefer to use. So the next two things are actually, I would say, they are complementary, and these are C-Max and C-Lang. As you can see, these are nasal sprays, so I have C-Max and C-Lang. And what these two things in general do, I say it in very easy way. C-Max helps you with focus, with drive, and C-Lang helps you with socialization and calming down. So does it make sense then to use C-Max in the morning after waking up, and C-Lang in the noon when you have meetings or something like that, or before important meetings? Maybe you have a meeting in the morning, then you can use C-Lang as well, and in the evening, for calming down. So when you're, for example, now a focus task and you need to do something on your own, you need to learn or to focus, to research, I would recommend C-Max. And if you want to, have some meetings or something where you need, calm but sharp mind, I would use C-Lang. You can try a combination of both as well, and it works actually pretty good. But I love to use them separate, but on different times of the day. For example, this morning I used C-Max, and I will use C-Max in 30 minutes another time, and then it will work around about 5-6 hours. It will last 5 to 6 hours, and after that, for the evening, or for late noon, I will use C-Lang because I have meetings, I have client calls, I will actually do something with my private crew, for socialization, and therefore I use that. And these two things are actually pretty good. And when you use 500 microgram or less a day, or per spray, it is good. So if you have no previous problems, or mind issues or brain issues, you can try them out. You can get them on Peptide Science. By the way, I'm not sponsored as well. And good. They're really good. And that is basically it. So what I now do to focus, and what multimillionaires do, of course, that there are some nuances, like that there are hundreds of different nootropics, all want to give you the same output, focus and clarity, but all work in a different way, and you need to find out what works different for you. But this here is kind of the generic approach, and when you now have problems, you identify the specific problem, and based on your specific problem, there are other nootropics and peptides, and more in-depth and more specialized medications, substances, whatever, will help you with the problem to bring 100%. But this here will bring you 80-90% of the output. So what I would do is, I would wake up and use C-Max, 500 micrograms. Then I would just chill 60 minutes and work. And then I would have a cup of coffee. Actually, I had one this morning as well. And with the cup of coffee, I would have alpha GPC, lion's mane, ashwagandha, and the rest I mentioned, And then I would work. Then I just would work. And then we have now 12 p.m. Round about at 12 p.m. I would use, or after 4, 5, 6 hours of pure work, I would use another alpha GPC, 300 milligrams, and another coffee, and another one L-theanine, and if you want, another one of C-Max. Then I would chill again, and then in late noon I would use C-Lang, and that's it. The doses, I mentioned the doses. You can try it out. It is really not that bad. And then you can easily go from, I only can focus 4 hours a day, to I can focus 12 to 14 hours a day. And that's really the secret, It is not that entrepreneurs are superhumans or special in something. They have a drive, they have something in their mind, and then they use the stuff that helps them to move forward, I was in a bodybuilding as well, and I built my business with bodybuilding nutrition and supplements and all of that stuff, and I noticed that it doesn't work. It doesn't really work. And then I found out about, then I researched more about the substance and all of that stuff, and then I went into this brain thing. And for now, it is insanely good. It works, and when the database shows that it works, it normally works for you. Of course, there are some differences if your genetical code is something different, or if you have some pre-disorders or something like that. Of course, it will not work in the way it should work, but this here is safe to use for most of the people. You can try it out. It's really affordable actually, and it has not no real side effects. So give it a shot if you want. If not, then not. Bye.